the real battle of Dragon Slayers began this episode. I don't know what was up with the title of last episode, but the battle began here. And I gotta say that I really thought that this fight was freaking crazy. I really thought that the way it was done in the anime, I don't know if they really added any filler parts per se. I feel like there was, from my memory recollection of it, there was a little bit more parts to when the arena broke and they went under because in the manga, from what I remember, it was very quick, and I remember I had to go back and say, "Wait a minute, the arena broke, and how the hell did they get down there?" So I felt like they did a bit of a better job making things a little more clear in the anime than they did in the manga. And overall, just the fight, it looked beautiful as far as like the colors and everything. Animation wasn't the greatest or anything like that because I mean they probably just on the last bit of money that they have for this. So, but the colors look really awesome. When they went into Dragon Force, Sting and Rogue, it looked really beast. And I was just impressed of Sting going up against Natsu and Gajeel by himself. And it was interesting that we learned the motives of Sting, what he's doing and whatnot. Not the most exciting or anything like that. Not the most like in depth. Like, oh my gosh, it was a promise he made to a cat. Which, if you really look closely at the timeline, remember Sting is approximately Natsu's age, and Natsu was his age, his own age, 7 years ago. So if you flash back when the Exceeds first showed up, Sting was a little kid when the Exceeds first showed up, and at the same time, you also got to look if he was a little kid when the Exceeds first showed up. Then he was even further. Like, how old was he when the dragons supposedly, were around, and he killed his dragon, where they were calling Lecter a liar. The little cat, little Exceed. So that really, like, yeah, I would call Lecter a liar too. I mean, like, how old was this kid where he allegedly killed his dragon? So I look at it as, there's probably more to it than meets the eye. There's probably a lot more of a backstory that we have yet to see or whatnot. Just overall history with the dragons and what's going on. So I guess I understand people calling like they're a liar, but I guess I gotta respect though that Sting did make a promise to him, like, yo, I'm gonna prove it to them how strong I really am. And obviously he didn't. I mean, look at him. He looks like a regular little fragile little kid. He didn't kill no dragon. He ain't kill no dragon. I don't care what he says. And it was crazy how Sting and Rogue, the battle back and forth between the two with Natsu and Gajeel, I felt as though it kept on going back and forth. I like that. It was like, holy shit, they beat their asses. Holy shit, they beat their asses. And they kept on switching back and forth. So it felt like legitimately a struggle up until Natsu and Gajeel got up and were like, ooh, yeah, you really made me sore and everything. Then I was like, wow, so they're not even taking this serious. And it really just shows that this entire time they were like, yeah, we're the best, we're the new age Dragon Slayers, we're gonna kick ass, and they really overestimated themselves. They came in cocky, and you can tell that Natsu and Gajeel are at another league, at another level. Maybe had they not had that, the second origin and the training for 3 months, then maybe Sting and Rogue might have kicked their asses. Because Sting and Rogue, in my opinion, are at the level maybe a bit above of what Natsu and Gajeel were prior to the power ups that they got after the time skip. If it was 7 years ago, they might have kicked their asses. They might have done it. So that's where I was looking at the whole thing. My problem with the episode, for the most part, I didn't really care for when Natsu threw Gajeel down there. They tried to play it off as funny, and it was kind of hilarious, like his facial expressions. But when Natsu put Gajeel in the barrel and tossed him down, it kind of felt a little bit like, oh, come on, what are you doing? We're supposed to have a 2-on-2. And it was like if Natsu was trying to do what Sting just did to them when he was like, yo, Rogue, stand back, I got this. So it makes sense in that aspect, but at the same time, I didn't like it. I thought that, like, Godzilla's supposed to flex. It's his time to shine as well. Not only you, and he gets pushed down there, and he just keeps going down there. And it's funny because we got one episode left, so I doubt anything is going to be carried on. Like, that'll probably it's a possibility that will be the last time we ever see Godzilla in the entire anime up until either they bring it back or whatever the case may be. So, and it's interesting also that they decided to end the anime on this fight when the tournament still has more to go. There's still a lot more matches. So it's a big possibility that, yeah, it's coming back just at a later date, because why would you end it in the middle of a tournament and have no further plans to do anything with this? So we'll see next week, I guess, after the final episode, what's going to happen. Is it's going to be over. But definitely this episode, I really felt like it was an awesome battle episode. Maybe Natsu and Godzilla are a bit too much as far as like it's a mismatch fight at this point, and they were built up as if they were even slightly in the league of Natsu and Godzilla, but Sting and Rogue at the end of the day they're crusty. They're crusty. They can't, like, they were kicking their asses, but it was because I guess Natsu and Godzilla weren't even really going full force. They just wanted to learn, which is a good strategy. It's a good strategy that Natsu and Godzilla were using. Basically, we're gonna find out everything about them by taking a little bit of an ass whipping from them. The way their posture is when they fight, everything. So that's definitely a good strategy. It's been used multiple different times. I've seen in different animes. For example, Yu Yu Hakusho. I remember a time when Yusuke used to allow the opponent to like do all sorts of shit while he studied them, and then he would strike. So that's pretty much what they were doing. Why? In all honesty, Natsu and Godzilla never really got their asses kicked. It was really just studying them. And okay, I got them down packed. I know everything about them. I know the freaking space between each breath. I know everything. So then now he's gonna go and kick their asses. So I can't wait to see how everything's gonna play out. The anime I think did a bit of a better job than the manga. That's just me. It's like not only because it's the anime, it brings it to life. It has the color, the music, the voice acting, the intensity that it brings. But it also just it felt, I don't know, maybe there was some filler parts in there. I can't really tell. It's been a bit since I read the manga, but it just felt like a bit more spaced out and a little bit more better. Like they turned this entire fight so far into like an episode and a chunk, a little piece of the last episode, and we still got more to go. So it'll probably be like 2 episodes and a piece of this fight, and I think that's a nice, fair, and appropriate stance. Sometimes fights can go for like 4, 5, 12 episodes, and it'll get really ridiculously long. But it felt like one of those maybe a shortened or a Kai version of like a Dragon Ball Z fight, I guess you would say. I like the intensity of the way they were moving, the quickness, the speed, and overall it just really looked cool. It was kind of funny though, speaking of Dragon Ball Z, where I believe it was Sting that he used an attack and it looked like he was doing Kamehameha, and then when he shot it out, it like started spreading everywhere. So you can definitely see the influences there. It's always there. Dragon Ball Z influences in nearly every shonen battle manga one way or another. But I still thought that was pretty cool. Nice little homage to the Kamehameha. But yeah, that's really all I have to say about this episode. Really enjoyed it. I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5. That 0.5 gets taken out because Godzilla got tossed down there. Next episode, the finale. I'm sad to see Fairy Tail go on hiatus. If it's the end of it, which I really doubt it's the end of it at this point because of what Hiro Mashima is saying, but if it's the end of it, then it's cool to go out with a nice, cool fight like this. Nice Battle of Dragon Slayers. And if it's not the end of it, then we'll see next time. But yeah, that's all I have for this review. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Thumbs up for the Dragon Slayers going out in a nice clash to end the tournament and not end the tournament, but end the the series for now. And we'll see where things go. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day.